All right, we're checking back in with meteorologist Garrett James. And Garrett, I know you mentioned that it's not going to be this nice weather for every day the next few days, but tell us, how long do we have to wait until we can kind of see things calm down again?
It could be upwards of another week if I'm being completely transparent about it, as it seems like we've got back-to-back troughs heading our way that are going to just continue to provide even more rain chances. Now, not everybody's going to see these rain chances. However, some places, also likely in northern Utah, will see them. However, southern Utah, hang on for that 7-day forecast because it's looking a bit more dry. So this low pressure system, it's going to be moving up towards the northeast, and as it does so, we're going to continue to see that influx of moisture just provide shower and thunderstorm chances here over the next several days. In fact, we're already looking at a little bit of rain out there right now. In fact, we can see a little lightning strike right along I-15 at the present time. However, we're even seeing a couple lightning strikes out of that cell that's out over towards Tooele County at the present time. But over to the east and over to the south, things are looking a bit more dry at the current time. However, we are going to be looking at those rain chances returning towards the southern part of the state towards about Monday and Tuesday. But first, we got to talk about tomorrow. Let's look at 6 o'clock in the morning, starting off dry. However, towards lunchtime, shower and thunderstorm chances really going to start along I-15, just off the west side of the interstate at least for the southern half of the state, right along I-70 around the Delta area. But towards the north, towards the Uintas, we're going to be looking at those developing right along the mountain range right there. But better chances, I would say, are towards the northwestern part of the state, including Tooele County at the present time. However, with some of those storms, we could see them on the strong to severe side of things. However, if we do see any severe weather, I would say that it would be pocket change sized hail, so dimes, pennies, nickels, quarters at the largest, some gusty winds, and even some brief downpours and frequent lightning will be possible out of all of these storms. However, if we do see any severe thunderstorms, mainly going to be looking at just hail and high winds associated with those. We'll start to dry out overnight once again. We'll still see a few showers and thunderstorms here and there, but then those rain chances return. By the time we get to Monday, we can see along I-15 once again, but this time towards the southern part of the state. Looks to get in on the action there, and then we'll see those thunderstorm chances tapering off towards the night hours, and then we rinse and repeat. So the overall storm threat for tomorrow, looking at now a marginal risk for parts of the western part of the state, but the eastern part of Nevada at the present time. However, for Monday, looking like just a general risk for thunderstorms in the area. Now, tomorrow, one thing I do want to mention is there is a risk for excessive rainfall. Like I mentioned, those brief downpours just a minute ago could lead to flooding in low-lying areas. However, for the southern half of the state, if you're planning on doing any hikes, you want to keep an eye on the radar, but as far as flash flooding goes, not a concern at this point in time. Look out over the ABC4 News studio. We can see a few cumulus clouds and cirrus clouds overhead at the present time. And then out towards Moab, temperatures 67 degrees right now. Temperatures honestly not too bad. Look out over St. George, we can see 84 degrees, 70 Ogden, 74 in Salt Lake right now. However, tonight, temperature is going to be falling down into the 40s and 50s. Take a look at St. George, the highest temperature at 64, followed by Wendover at 62. But tomorrow, temperature is going to be closer to 90 for St. George and even Moab at 93, but the lower 80s and the upper 70s towards the northern half of the state. Now look at the Wasatch Front 7-day. It shows scattered thunderstorms for several days. Temperatures in the 80s on Sunday, but 70s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but the 80s again by Friday. Now take a look for St. George. Much different story. Looking at just slight chances Monday and Tuesday, but temperatures looking like they're going to climb into the mid to upper 90s towards the end of the week.